we have to pay close attention to some movies. When they put these movies out, we have to pay close attention, trying to decipher the content and what is being communicated. The problem is that some people think that movies are just something we entertain ourselves with, something we do when we want to have leisure, when we want to have recreational activities. We find the kind of movie we can go to the movie theaters or watch movies in our homes. But movies are mouthpiece of the elite who control reality from the shadows. And once you understand this, once you get this, you never look at reality the same again at all. At all. Movies are so important that agencies, intelligence agencies like CIA and other military military establishments are funding covertly from the back door some movie producers. Why? Because of something called mass behavior modifications, social engineering. Social engineering is very is going on the planet all over the place. And of course, when I am talking about movies, I'm not talking about movies just produced in any country. I'm talking of particularly the Hollywood cinematographic industry, the Hollywood movie industry, right? This establishment is so important as a tool in the hands of the rulers to shape the behavior, the psychology of virtually everyone on this planet, right? And that is why we pay close attention to whatever, not whatever, but some movies that they're putting out there. And some movies will tell you more about reality than you will ever learn in school. For instance, the movie called The Matrix. This movie has more information that many professors can teach you in colleges because it dives into the nature of reality and illusion. It dives into the nature of illusion, things as they appear to be, and things as they are completely two different things. And many people look at the world and try to interpret the world from the perception, from the sensory feedback they are receiving. You look at things, you think that what you see is actually what is there. When you watch the movie, The Matrix, you see that whoever put that movie knows something that the rest of mankind don't know. Watch that movie if you haven't watched it. If you can decipher it, if you know what they are talking about, you know, they're discussing the quantum realm, both the visible light spectrum and the invisible light spectrum. And we have to know that the perception, the physical, visible perception, the things you can see, sense, smell, hear, within this plane, within this reality, is only 5%, maybe 5%. Let's say 5%. So we're talking of about 95% of reality that is present to you. You cannot hear, you cannot perceive, you cannot hear, understand them. And it is from this invisible dimension that is interfacing with this physical reality that these elites have studied the control activities and events happening there. And because they understood and they possess certain knowledge that other people do not have access to, they can easily utilize that in a very nefarious way to control the masses, because the masses need to be controlled. From ancient time, we see that people usually go to the temple for behavior modifications. The priests, the clergies, the shamans in antiquities, in olden days, were the programmers, they were the mind controllers of the people, right? But the new shamanic manifestation, the new mind programmer of the modern time, of the age we are in, are no longer the sort of shamans who clad themselves with animal skins and do all kinds of ritualistic chanting. We are talking of highly advanced people whose temple, their pulpit, is the television. Their pulpit is movie and cinemas. And that is why I say they invest millions upon millions of dollars to produce a movie because they know what they are doing. They're using aversion psychological techniques. They're using dark psychologies. They're using social engineering to package the kind of behavior they want the masses to embrace. And they're all over the place, all over the place. And sometimes, if they are getting ready to usher in a new reality, they began first of all to put that reality in the movie so that when it finally manifests, you will not be surprised. Your subconsciousness has gotten used to them and become normal, quote unquote, normal to you. Even though that norm, the new norm you're embracing, is a norm that somebody from the shadows, somebody from somewhere has crafted and packaged, and gradually guiding you towards that goal, that behavior, that outcome that they designed from behind your back and you're not aware of it. So that's why cinemas are very important to pay attention to. And today we are going to analyze one particular movie, and that movie tells the reality of the occult, the reality of mind control, of MK Ultra mind control, of initiation into dark world, into the world of elitism and the controllers, right? That movie is called Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut, right? Why did they name it Eyes Wide Shut? Um, because you're looking but you cannot see. That is what they're telling you in a movie. You're looking but you cannot see, you cannot decipher. And there are so many cryptographs, ciphers, symbolisms, and cryptographies and simulacras, codes hidden in many movies. And it's only if you understand codes and symbolism, it takes you take time and study symbols, right? You understand what is going on. And certain things you cannot see it unless somebody shows it to you, right? And that is why we have to pay attention to movies. I'm going to share my screen. I'll make this piece very brief. This is what the movie is called, Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut. Because usually people say eyes wide open. But this is eyes wide shut. It means you're looking but you cannot see. You cannot see. And this movie deals with a chemical transformation of the society. The coming or the already happening, a chemical transformation of the society. And without understanding symbols, without understanding cryptographs, you're just going to see this movie and think it's just entertainment. And then you watch it and go home. And you're telling your friends you had fun watching movies, but it's full of occult cinematographic occultism. And it's not just occultism, but what is to come. Remember, when you look at certain movies, like in these days, they are beginning to put a lot of movies dealing with transhumanism, right? the time when man and machine will be so synchronized, the merge between the machine consciousness and the human consciousness. And they are desensitizing you using advanced psychological techniques. Could be aversion therapy techniques. It could be Freudian psychoanalytic techniques. It could be certain behavioral designed techniques, right? They are propositioning you so that when this error is made manifest, your consciousness has been programmed to absorb what has been subliminally presented to you through your unaware self. And you're going to see it as a norm, as a reality. Watch out for many movies coming out. It has to do with transhumanism because that is the next thing being designed. You know, the unification of man and machine, homo machine, who does anything like that. They're going to unite man, the biology, is going to be designed to embrace the new consciousness of machine I'm also talking of, the AI, the artificial intelligence. And you are part of it. You are participating on it because they programmed you to accept it even before the time comes. When the time comes, is something already you have believed in, and you can defend it. And if somebody tries to talk you out of it, you're willing to argue, willing to fight. As they say in the movie The Matrix, the Matrix, the system, and that system is our enemy. But when we are inside and we look around, what do we see? We said businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people that we are trying to free or save. And until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy too. And then Morpheus continues in that movie and say, you must know that some of these people are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they are willing to fight to protect it. That is exactly what is going on. Because if we have been socially engineered to believe concepts, to believe things one way, to believe that the world is what we see, and somebody tells you that, there's no solidity of matter, for example. There's no individuation. That individuation is an illusion. Solidity, thinking that something is concrete, thinking that you see in a tree that a tree is actually standing. Somebody trying to present this or that quantum understanding of reality. You are going to stick with the concrete, right? Because of cognitive dissonance, something called in psychology as cognitive dissonance. This is not what I've been taught in school. I did my bachelor's, I did my master's degree, I did my PhD degree. I've been told about this by my parents, by my culture, all my life. And how dare you tell me something different, right? That is what cognitive dissonance is. Sometimes our educational system, our cultural upbringings, our associates or friends, our family values, and all these things becomes like a traditional dogmatism, becomes like a dogma. It could be our scientific training. If you are trained, for example, in classical physics, of Einstein, of Isaac Newton, right? Such classical physicists. It's going to be difficult for you if you are so rigidly attached to those theories. It's going to be difficult for you to believe in the new information coming in, the quantum realm. There's no solidity of matter, and solidity is an illusion. I think when Albert Einstein first heard this, he thought it was a joke, as brilliant as he was, because he was sticking to what he knew. And that becomes dogmatism, even in science. And that is where a lot of people who think they know, a lot of people who are teachers find it difficult to change because of dogmatism in science. They find that people say, oh, I'm scientific, or I'm teaching biology, or I'm teaching chemistry. Doesn't mean they cannot be dogmatic in the reasoning process. Dogmatism is just being able to take this particular information and thinking that that is the knowledge. And if something else changes tomorrow, there is new finding, they find it difficult to adjust their mental construct to that new information that is coming in. And I think personally, dogmatism is of any kind of dogmatism, be it scientific dogmatism, be it religious dogmatism, is bad for mankind because knowledge is, we are in the process of discovery. As long as we stay in this body of blood and bone and flesh, we cannot have knowledge in its entirety. We have knowledge bit by bit. And there are a time when knowledge evolves. What we know, for example, 200 years ago might not be what we know today. Humanity is in evolutionary increment in terms of intelligence, in terms of rational progress. And that is what we need to pay attention to and we need to understand. So in order not to drift much, we're going to dive deep into this movie. Try to watch this movie because this movie tells you about Western Hermeticism, the occult, the Western society, and the agenda of the elite in what they is being planned for humanity, for the society. And this is already being implemented in different aspects of the social, psychological, family systems. The movie was by Stanley Kubrick. Kubrick, Kubrick, like that name. He's one of my greatest movie maker because this guy is too smart. His head is like flaming with intelligence. When he makes movie, take time and see what you are being told. Because for some reason, and many people might disagree with me, I think he's a mouth of the elite. This guy is one of the mouths of the elite. His movie has a lot of a chemical message, a chemical transformation of humanity, of the masses, right? Behavioral modification of the masses, what they call GMO, genetically engineered organism, because people are being engineered every day. As long as there are systems in place to cognitively change your perception, you're being engineered as a GMO, genetically modified organism. Have you ever spoken to somebody who is so into the system, into the mainstream construct, into the mainstream ideology, and they think they are so right, and um, they fail to consider other aspects of knowledge because they see those aspects as unconventional, as fringe knowledge, right? But oftentimes, even in findings, scientific breakthroughs, people who make giant strides have always been those people who they thought, quote unquote, were crazy, because they deviated from the norm. And because everybody is in this umbrella of mass cognitive singularity, mass cognitive thinking, cognitive process. You have to stay in the umbrella of the mainstream information. Once you deviate from that construct, you become like an outcast. And that system of looking at somebody as an outcast makes it possible for a lot of people to be able to embrace some information that might be different from what their cognitive constructs are used to. So this guy is not stupid. This guy knows something. He knew something. I think it's past. I think after making this movie, passed shortly after making this movie. Right? So um, stupid is not something you call this man. There are few of them that you got to pay attention to. George Lucas, who makes a lot of sci-fi movies, he seems to be the mouth of the elites as well, the invisible, all-powerful, all-knowing elite. It seems to be their mouth because many things he is communicating is the future, things that university professors, knowledge that they don't have access to yet, you know. So how did they come up with this? How did they come up with this? And you will begin to appreciate what I'm trying to discuss when you begin to study the occult, when you begin to study esotericism, hermeticism, Gnosticism, and all these esoteric concepts and ideas and traditions, you know, look at the world very the same. So in this movie, I think it came out sometime in 1999, 1999, and it featured Alice, what's her last name? I forgot her last name. Kidman, Alice Kidman, played was featured in that movie as well as Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a popular actor. He's a good actor, and both of them acted as Mr. and Mrs. Hartford. Harford, Mr. and Mrs. Harford. Tom Cruise played as Bill Harford, and what's her name? Nicole, not Alice. In this movie, he played as Alice Harford, but her name is Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman. So both of them played as a couple in this movie. But the point we're trying to make is that this movie is full of elitist agenda, elitist program, designed, packaged program ready to be implemented, right, on the people, on the people. This is how the movie opened. You see Mrs. Harford walking in between two pillars. Now, I'm going to try to just decipher the symbols. Remember, when they make movies, certain movies, they don't just make things randomly. Every object, everything, the shoes on the ground are highly strategically placed because we're talking of symbolism, imageries, and simulacras, right? And by me looking at this picture, many people will just see a female just moving and stripping herself naked, right? Right? This has a lot of significance to the secret society people, to the occultists, to the, it has a lot of Masonic symbolism. And the two pillars has to do with the Masonic two pillars of Boaz and what's the other Boaz and let me see, I got it here. Can't remember this and Jacking. Yep, Boaz and Jacking, the two pillars, the two Masonic pillars. So this has a lot of Freemason imprint. And when this movie is being put out like this, they are telling people who understand about the coming transformation of the society and who's is behind these movies, right? Who is behind it and the program they intend to implement, right? So it's not just entertainment. People who think it's just an entertainment is completely missing the mark. They're missing the point, and because they're missing the point, it's difficult to see where where these people tend to move the people in terms of the next social and psychological evolution, right? You see a female, naked, Eventually, she stripped herself. She stripped herself naked in that movie. If you watch the movie, if you haven't seen it, please try to find this movie and watch. You see the two pillars of Freemason, the gateway. So she's entering the gateway, and if you look at the curtain, what you see is the pyramid. Is the pyramid, Masonic pyramid, having the mark of the Illuminati, right? The pyramid, a female walking in between the the pillars, and then you see a light is strategically placed as well. Um, this light signifies the all-seeing eyes, which usually is on top of the pyramid, right? The mark of the Illuminati, whoever had interest in this movie and to produce this movie, the symbols are all over the place. And you see what? Something used to play tennis, the game, and two of them. One has black color, the other one has a different color. It's talking of the duality of nature, the game, the battle, the cosmic war of two opposites, the masculine and the feminine, right? The pyramid is there, you can see it clearly. The two pillars are there, and a female walking in between those two pillars, right? Let me expand this. Okay. All right. So now we see Alice, as I said, passing through that pillar, in between the pillar. And this is a ritual of initiation in Freemason. A ritual of initiation. It's been initiated into a certain world. Her world is going to be chemically transformed. Her world is going to change. And remember, when I say at least visualize humanity, visualize the masses, visualize the people out there, because she is the new initiate. She is the new person in this movie who is undergoing this transformation, right? And let me just give a background to this movie. It was a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Harford, were kind of having marital relationship issue, right? They were having struggling in their marriage. They're having intimacy problem. And then a friend of theirs invited them to this kind of Christmas party, so to say. And they went to this Christmas party, and from there, things begin to change. Like they went into this rabbit hole. They begin to find things, how the world works. They begin to find who's in charge. And from that moment, they were inducted, kind of initiated. They went into the ritualistic initiation into this new reality they're going to find themselves in. And as I said, when you look at Mr. and Mrs. Harford, understand that they represent the masses. They represent the masses passing, being initiated into the next reality being designed. They're passing through the gateway. They're passing through the pillar. The pillar is, as I say, is a Masonic symbolism, and is a gateway to a new reality. What new reality are we talking about? It's a fundamental transformation of the society. The society was being programmed to change. The masses are being cosmically, if you want, collectively initiated and prepared into the age that is coming, right? Into the era that is coming, into this designed reality that is elite governors and controllers, the puppet masters have designed. So as from the time this movie opens, the screen opens and you see Alice getting naked, what does that mean? She's getting naked. I need you to go beyond the 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 explicit sexual image in this movie, because they are talking of something deeply esoteric. They're talking of something advanced cosmic information. Advanced cosmic information. So a female, there was a new creation. When you study ancient doctrines like Gnosticism, you see that the primordial being, the one, I think the Gnostics call him the one, through emanation first created Sophia. And Sophia, as we know, is of a female energy form, the female energy form, the first primordial being, not created, through emanation, engendered Sophia. And in this, she represents that first principle of creation or emanation as well, the feminine energy. The feminine energy. That's what she represents in that movie, as she is being created. She's being created anew. Something is creating. The new, the new creation is being born. Her whole world, her whole reality is she's transformed. Basically, she is changed by just being initiated by new emanation. She had new emanation. So that image of a female naked walking in between the pillars represents the feminine energy. And as we go forward, we see these Masonic symbols. I needed to look at this very well, and I'm going to go back again and show you how all these symbols are represented in the first. Just see the all-seeing eyes, see the triangle, see the two pillars, the masculine and the feminine energy. This compass, Masonic compass, represent, you see, a man and a woman. It's actually sexual in content. Sexual, not in terms of an sexual in terms of energies, divine energies. The creative force in the universe has to do, everything is masculine and feminine. Everything within this physical manifestation has to do with two opposites, right? Masculine and feminine. And these two energies will come together to create. Even if you're using battery, you have the positive side and negative side, right? Everything in this physical dimension, the atoms, they have positive charge and negative charge. So nothing in this physical manifestation will be brought into existence without these two different forces, the yin and the yang, acting together in order to engender or to bring into being a new reality. And we see that she passing through these two walls of Masonic imagery signifies also that the presence of a feminine energy, femininity. I'm not talking of a woman as a pair, I'm talking of feminine energy. Let me go back. Look at this very well, and I'm going to go back. Remember the pillar, remember the two pillars, remember the all-seeing eyes, remember the triangle. They're all represented there, and the checkers. You see the checkers here? This is a classical Masonic symbol. This is a Masonic symbol. Whenever I see this checker, whether you're playing, what do you call this game? A chess, you see this kind of checker. You're playing some carpets, some places, churches, you have this symbol, but it's actually an occult Masonic symbol. And what it stood for, it stands for, is the duality, the Manichaean dualism, the fight of the two opposites, the 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 union of the opposites. That dualistic dualistic way of looking at reality. And it is through this dualism that they even control the society. They understand people who rule the world from behind the scene, understand how to employ this dualism, the war between two opposites in controlling the entire planet. Even when you watch politics, you see Republicans, Democrats, there's this ideological pinching each other against pitching themselves against each other, the duality, male and female battle, because they understood from a quantum metaphysical realm that for you to be able to control, you have to create and increase the tension of the two opposites. And that's how you rule the world, right? So let's go back again. We're going to see that in that initial opening of that movie, you see all these things as symbol. All these things are symbolized in this woman passing through the pillar. The sun representing masculine energy and the moon representing feminine energy. You see the same thing that the compass seem to represent, male and female. The unity of them is how you create, how you control, how you manifest things, how everything within this physical world is produced. See, let's say the pyramid is here, the pillars are here, the feminine energy is here, and then the all-seeing eyes represented by this burning light. And you see the other picture I showed you, that the checker carpet on the floor, and you see these two battles, the two energies, two kind of Manichaean dualistic principle, the fight of two forces that cannot do away with each other, but they are in constant both unity and division at the same time, right? That night and day, up and down, right, left, these are what these things symbolize, and they are strategically placed. If you don't understand your card, if you don't understand esoteric knowledge, you're not going to see that this. You're not going to see this pyramid here. You never see it. You're not going to see it. You're just going to see a curtain, right? But nothing is placed just randomly. It's a code. And as I said, when they encode, we decode. When they encrypt, we decipher, right? When they cipher, we decipher. When they encrypt, we try to decode what this means. It takes it takes certain knowledge of symbols. Symbols are very important. Simulacras are very important in understanding certain information in movies. Yeah, purely Masonic driven information. That light, the other place you saw a light, like a lantern, but that is also the all-seeing eyes. The pyramid was in form of the curtain, and then the male and female energy was present. Again, the Masonic symbol, the secret society Masonic symbol, the pyramid is there. Most buildings, public buildings, are designed with this Masonic image. Most government houses are designed with this Masonic image because they are the ones in charge. They're the builders. They are the people who implemented some of these laws that rule the world. So, see, the all-seeing eyes are the two pillars. And the checker, this checker, as I said, on the floor, this carpet, wherever you see this, no, is a Masonic image. It's a secret society Masonic image. And what it signifies is the duality in nature, the fight between polar opposites, or the unity of polar opposites, if you may, which will which will bring in new engender new being or new ideas or new information or new birth, right? Let's say buildings. If you look at this building here, you see the two pillars, the pyramid are here, the shape of pyramids are here, the pyramid, the two pillars, see, different courts in the Western world are usually designed like this, but you have to understand who runs the show, you know, who runs the show. Most of the social structures, most of the legal systems, most of the academic systems are controlled by certain people from behind the scene. And the architectures are all over the place. The infrastructures, the symbols are all over the place, all over the place. So now this movie is kind of explicitly sexual eroticism, kind of explicit eroticism. But as I said, go beyond that, the go beyond the vain understanding of this eroticism in this movie. Because when they are going naked and having sex with all kinds of stuff, they are talking of cosmic union and the ability of these puppet masters to neutralize all energies and to create a new synthesis or a new form of energy on the planet. Rainbow image was there, and everyone who knows rainbow image, anyone who understands rainbow signifies two things. One, we see this imagery in the Bible as well after the flood, after the deluge. Noah survived the deluge as we were told, and then when he came out of the boat, he was asked to enter a covenant. So what this image represents, the symbol, is that the masses are going to be initiated into a new world. The masses are going to be enter into sort of covenant. They're entering a new gateway, and they are going to be initiated into a new way of thinking, a new approach to things, a new understanding, a new perception, a new reality. They are making covenant. They have been initiated, and they will go through this alchemical transformation, or if you want, like GMO modification, genetically modified organism. They're going through this modification for the benefit of the elite, for the elites and leading people to where they want them to be. Another image of this rainbow, is sexual freedom. Sexual freedom, which is very prominent in that movie. And the intention is the coming neutralization of traditional family. Traditional family will be neutralized. Religion is under, spirituality is, I don't want to say religion, is under attack because the man's concept of the divine shall be so, is going to be deconstructed. Man's knowledge of himself, his perception of himself within this social system is going to be deconstructed, and a new form of self-awareness will be in view. As I said, two things that this rainbow represents in this movie. We are talking about this movie particularly, we're not talking about any other thing. So one is the covenant, the new covenant, the new truth, the agreement being reached, the initiation. Somebody is initiated. And when you see Alice Harford in that movie, know that both Alice and her husband, Bill Harford, represent the masses. The masses, initially, they want to just have a peep. They just want to, go and they just want to try to be part of this thing. They don't even understand. But as time goes on, after they have been initiated, it now dawned on them where they are. And that is what is getting ready to happen to people, right? The new social initiation. new social initiation using all kinds of engineering, mass behavior modifications and engineering is going to happen for the next level of evolution of mankind, or devolution if you want, either evolution or devolution, however way these people want to take mankind to, they're the ones who know what they dreamed for mankind. So two things. One is covenant, the new initiation, right? That's what rainbow represents. And then another one is the explicit sexual freedom, the breaking down of traditional norms. There's no longer norm, because in that movie you see the themes of sexuality, like what ordinary people might consider as perverted sexual behaviors, was very prominent in that movie. And as I said, go beyond the movie. They're talking of a chemical transformation. A chemical. You're dealing with hermetic occult, right? A chemical changes of the masses' mind, the transformation of the very basis of the human thinking, of the human biology, of the human, psychology. That is what they are. That is that is what they are up to in this inserting this rainbow symbolism here. Your traditional value is going to go, right? Traditional value you have will be destroyed, and the new form of behavior will be implemented. New form of behavior is going to be initiated, and it's absolute sexual freedom. Absolute sexual freedom, that what was seen before as abnormal or perverted, man to man, woman to woman, both heterosexuality and homosexuality will be destroyed. And another symbol we have to pay attention in this movie is that Mr. and Mrs. Harford were having some marital problem. And it was a Christmas period. There was this kind of allusion that the traditional, because Christmas in that movie represents religion, right? Man's concept of the divine shall be rearranged, because after they attended that party that they were invited into to attend, their concept of morality, of family value, of marriage disappeared, right? Completely disappeared. Both of them, were sleeping around with all kinds of people as part of that cosmic initiation, right? So as I wrote here, deeper mystery initiation, covenant, sexual freedom, aversion for normative, kind of rejection of the norm. It's an agenda. I'm talking of the future. Rejection of the norm. What is norm now will be destroyed. And remember, these are not happenstance. These are not by accident. These are a program being implemented on the world, on the masses, a gradual behavioral modification, mass behavioral change by creating collective cognitive singularity, hive mind, right? So this movie is packed with both Masonic and occult symbolism, and what they are presenting is what is going to happen in the future that is here but is still coming. Again, breakdown of monogamous heterosexuality, death of traditional family values, as I've discovered. You see, there's a lot of what the normal society will consider perverted behavior. Themes of explicit heterosexualism is present in that movie, homosexualism as lesbianistic erotism pervades the entire movie, right? Entire movie. Again, I'm going to talk something. I'm trying to explain this as better as I could. So go beyond sex. Go beyond sex. They're not even talking about sex. If you understand alchemy, if you understand your court, they're not talking about sex, even though the theme seems to be very sexual. It means the neutralization of all oppositions. That's why you're having homosexuality, lesbianism in that movie is a neutralizing force, the neutralizing of all opposition and the creation of a singular consciousness. That's what it means, because sex, as I say, is an imagery. Sex as an imagery. Remember, sex is the energy of sex is the energy of creation, the energy of engendering something new, right? So they're telling you that laws, rules, regulations, norms will be neutralized through massive global chemical transformation, right? A man goes into a woman, they're not talking of sex, even though, as I say, sex seems to be playing that movie, but to go beyond the physical, go beyond the imagery, just an image. It's a symbol. Symbols are not just the real thing. The real things are behind the symbol. What is being presented, what is being discussed is the final neutralization and reunification of all oppositions, of all opposites, and the new synthesis, the new creation of the new world that is to come, right? So that movie, this movie is deep, and I'm just giving like bit by bit of fractions of this movie. It's deep and is elitist driven. Again, we see um, a theme of females kind of involved in this kind of orgiastic moment. You know, I'm going to read what I wrote here. So much orgiastic decadence in the movie carried deeper alchemical meaning. Speaking double here. Deeper alchemical meaning in the movie represented by magic and ritual sex orgies. Homosexual ritual erotism pervades the entire movie. I think I've said this before. So all of them stripped naked in a ring sexual magic circle. People have been doing this sexual magic for a long time. You know, those people who are involved in, you know, black magic and the evil kind of left hand magical practices were involved in this as a new way of bringing new being. Remember, they engage in this sexual magic to invoke new energy on the planet. You see, feminine and masculine, utilizing organic, the human sexual energy to create. As I say, people who involve in like dark magic, they utilize the sexual energy for either to invoke entities, as we have read about Aleister Crowley, the British arch Satanist and occultist, who was one of those people who was using, I think he went to Egyptian desert some time ago and then performed this magic. It has to do with sexual, and he unleashed certain entities on this planet. I think it's called Lam. He brought in true new energy on the planet. So you see the same process going on. They're utilizing but the energy of sexual energy of to because they are getting ready to invoke a new reality upon the face of the earth, and that is one of the things they are saying. This, so this movie is not a movie. This movie is the people who run things telling you what is going to happen, but because we're too blind, we're too asleep, we can't understand, we can't see what is being communicated. People can't see it. They go to watch the movie and entertain themselves and they go home, right? Again, sex, all over the place. Again, look beyond sex because they're not even talking about sex. They're talking about something else, right? This is what they are doing to humanity. They're transforming humanity gradually. They're shifting your consciousness to the next phase, right? Your behavior, you think your behavior is your behavior. Your behavior is being regulated by someone else. You don't know that. And if you don't know that, or you don't know, how will you control it? You're being transformed like the larva of a butterfly. But in this case, I don't know if the transformation is for you to attain the full butterfly hood and fly away. They have their nefarious agenda themselves. reprogramming, and the hands that are programming people are in the dark. These hands are in the shadows. You don't see them. You watch news. Your subconsciousness has been reprogrammed, but you have no idea. You have no idea. Your behavior, social behavior, political behavior, knowledge, educational behavior, information you acquire are all programs. Program like a computer program is running software. Software is running. That's what bioengineering, biopsychological engineering is, right? Another theme in the movie we saw is that that's why I say people who write these movies are not stupid people. These people are versed deep in occult. Occult, they don't just, is deep mystery they're writing. So um, you see the recapitulating ancient Osirian Egyptian drama, Osiris, right? They are recapitulating that God of redemption, that God of transformation, right? And Osiris, as I've discussed in some of my previous movies, and please, if you have not watched my previous movies, try to go find them and watch them. Osiris is the god of the underworld. The god of the underworld is the god of transformation. The god of transformation, right? And when the Greek people plagiarized Osiris, they named him what? Dionysus. Dionysus, the god of the wine. And we see the same thing recapitulated in the New Testament of Jesus giving his disciples wine to drink, to have life in them. This was done by Osiris hundreds and thousands of years before was written in the New Testament. And that is one of the things that got some people like Origen, the church theologian Origen, in trouble because he said that, well, all these things written about Christ was already present, or has already been said, exact thing has been done or said by Dionysus, and that didn't go well with the church because they didn't like to hear the truth. So in that movie, you see a recapitulation of the Egyptian Osirian drama, right? The Dionysian, the Greek Dionysian drama as well, and the Bacchus. Remember, both Bacchus and Osiris, and Dionysus are a copy of the African Egyptian Osiris. So whenever you hear them talking about Osiris, the Greek people, you know that they're talking of the god of transformation. Wine means transformation, and it means kind of morphogenesis, the new birth. And we also see, like in the Bible, that Jesus has to transform water into wine. Come on, guys, he's not talking about actual water. This is a chemical process. He's discussing hidden esoteric chemical process. Water and wine. He's talking of human transformation. It has nothing to do with people going to drink. That's not what he's talking about. At the time of the wedding, what does wedding mean? Initiation. Initiation. Well, I'm not talking about that right now. So, and you also see that at the end of the day, towards the end of the movie, you see, not as the movie progresses, you see that the rainbow was kind of put upside down, written in reverse. This was the same rainbow we saw initially, was written in reverse. Everything is chaos. Remember, I tell you, one of the ways that the Freemason govern the world is through Hegelian dialectics. Hegelian dialectics. Action, reaction, solution. Action, reaction, solution. Action, reaction, solution. And everything is written in reverse. What does that mean? What does that mean? The society will not be the same. Society, everything you know shall be upside down. Your knowledge, your understanding of how the social systems run now is going to be upside down, right? We turn it around. The lich, the governance of this physical third dimensional reality. A lot of occultism there as well in terms of bacchanalian theme. Whenever you see people wearing this mask, it has to do again with Dionysus, the god Dionysus, because the concept of drama, the concept of play was first demonstrated in ancient religious temples. What you call drama today, movies, in ancient time it was done in the temple, and they dramatized the salvation of man, the redemption of man by God. And one of the things, the theme that constantly come up when you study Dionysus or Bacchus is this mask wearing. Even in New Orleans, what they call monograms in the United States, you continue to see that a certain period of time they begin to engage in this Dionysian cult kind of ritualism. And in certain secret societies, they put on masks on, as they've demonstrated in that movie, where everybody who attended that party, that occult initiatory party, had masks on. This has a theme of the god Bacchus or Osiris or Dionysus. So they are written mystery in that um, movie. And we see again that what the elite are trying to initiate the masses into in the future are designed from what we call the left part. The left part is dark magicians. Dark magicians, the controllers who are dark. How did we come to that exposition or expose? Because when you look at this, you see an inverted star, which is a pentagram. And we know that the pentagram is a representation of the Satanists, right? The Satanists. People who cause chaos. The chaos intentionally cause chaos for a new social morphogenetically transformation, you know, for a new social construct. They cause chaos, they cause wars, people don't believe that sometimes wars are intentionally created for a mass behavior modifications. So the people who are planning and reprogramming and planning for the social transformation of mankind on the left side, on the negative side, on the satanic side. They told you that in this quote unquote Christmas light. Remember, this was supposed to be a Christmas period, but then they're inverting it. You got to understand your code. You got to understand the symbol they're putting there. Because these people who write these movies, as I said, are not stupid. They are mouthpiece. They are speaking for the hidden puppet masters, right? They are speaking for their masters. And that's why even when you watch, a lot of people are so addicted to news. Like now, what is raining is that Trump is sick and stuff like that. You're being played. Your consciousness is being hijacked, you're being played. If you involve your emotions or your attentions in this argument back and forth, you are in a false reality. It's like you have a container that is empty, right? And you don't know that it's empty. And you and your friend are arguing about the content. you know, that's how stupid that appears when you understand how how the world actually works, right? A lot of CIA agents are in the media because there's something they call Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird, where they plant strategic people to cause certain political commotions, right? To begin to create this tension in society, to bring a certain agenda, not just of the government, but of what you may call the deep state, the dark deep state, right? They implement their agenda in media. And if you're just watching this and arguing the Republicans, Democrat, and talking all this bull, you think you know what the fuck is going on. You don't. So we see that the implementers of the common agenda are on the left part because of the pentagram, the inverted star, the head of Baphomet. Satanists use this in their rituals. Um, you know, so these things are not placed When they make movies like this, they don't just, every single thing in the room is strategically placed. Why? Because, and this has to do again with understanding the metaphysical concept of humanity. Our subconsciousness, we're not just matter, our subconsciousness, our souls kind of knows more than our physical body allows us to understand, right? So when you are watching things, when you are seeing certain logos, certain images, it represses on your subconsciousness. It settles there. So your inner darker self knows it. But your physical yourself that operates in the visible light spectrum seem to be completely ignorant about it, right? Um, so um, the way they place strategic symbols like this, like because they know your consciousness is going to absorb it. You're not going to pack. If you're watching this movie, just focus on these people, but your unknown, your inner, deeper, darker self, your subconscious mind, your unconscious realm is absorbing this, internalizing it, and is ingrained deep inside of you, but you're not aware of it um, in terms of visible expression or understanding of that concept or that image, and that's why they use logos and they use symbols like that. So they're talking of Baphomet, telling you that people who are going to be reprogramming the world are on the left path. What does this mean? You have to again the symbol. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. You see, this is pentagram or hexagram. It could be a pentagram. This formation here is a pentagram or a hexagram. And we see the Saturnalian formation. This is Saturn, the planet Saturn. Why is the planet Saturn important? Because the planet Saturn used to be our sun in talking of many, if not many years ago, prehistory, whatever you call it, used to be our sun. And when the planet Saturn was our sun, seems the um, the planet Earth seemed to be constantly because the sun this it wasn't as bright as the sun we have right now. The sun we have now came and then it seems to have pushed this out of order, and then the sun we have now replaced this Saturn as our main sun. So in ancient time, people worshipped Saturn as a god. Again, don't think they are stupid. This is a gateway to another interdimensional reality, right? So people worship this as sun, as God, and even the name El. The name him in ancient time used to be called El, from where you get Elohim. So Saturn, call him Saturn, call him the god. Kronos is the same thing they are talking about. The god of time, the god that controls this physical dimension. And if you think the Asian people are stupid, you have to know that even within, in terms of energy transmission, this planet continues to weigh significant energy influence on the planet. And when I say the Saturn, I'm talking about an interdimensional gateway for, this is a different discussion with some time, but it's a gateway to something deeper, not just a piece of rock rotating in the space, right? There are these are gateways. So you see them that they formed Saturnalia, all wearing black with hood, which is a symbol of the Reaper, the Lord of the Ring, right? This is what they're mimicking, and they have. If you this if you know, you know that say this is hexagram here. We know that hexagram is at the north pole of the planet Saturn. That is why in many logos, even the Jewish flag, they say the Star of David. David does not have a star. You're talking of because the god they were worshiping was El. From El you get Elohim, right? Elohim is the same god as god you call Kronos, who ate his children in Greek mythology, right? So you see, the ring of Saturn, and the wearing of the black of Saturn. And because all religion we have today came from the worship of this God who dwell in the sphere of Saturn, that is why you see even Islamic imam wears like a kind of skull cap. Jewish rabbi wears a skull cap because they are all mimicking the ring of Saturn. And the Pope wears a skull cap. The judges wear black. Clergies West wear black with hood, which is actually a certainly a symbol. It has nothing to do with Christ or being righteous. No, it has to do with the darker side of existence, with the darker side of reality. So it's from Saturn that you get even the name Saturday, because it means Saturn's day. Because when they say worship God on Sabbath, what does it mean? Because they're worshiping Saturn, right? They're worshiping entities who dwell within this plane, right? Saturn. So, because in Jewish Hebrew language, the planet Saturn is called Shabbatai. Shabbatai, from where you get Sabbath. Worship God on Sabbath, because the Creator or the God, quote unquote, their God and Father lives in this realm of existence, and we can talk about what this means some time ago. We don't just have space to discuss the deeper meaning of this in the future. Right now. So, it's from this that you get Satan, because the entity that dwells here, um, for many people, has more of a negative control on this planet. And that is what they replicated in this movie, right? The god of the lich dwell in this realm, and they replicated him in this movie. See, the hexagram, this is what we call the 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 Star of David, which is an Israeli flag used by the Zionists, right? See, if you look very well, you see this triangle here, interlace it with another triangle, you get the hexagram. That's what they demonstrated here, and that again has to do with this. Why does it have to do with this? Because at the North Pole, and this is scientifically verifiable, at the North Pole are a hexagram. That hexagram is a gateway to certain inner realities that we may talk about sometime in the future. Right? So again, the symbol of Saturn is all over the place. Many religions, including the three major religions, came as a result of the worship of Saturn. Not, and a lot of people might be pissed off. As a result of worship of Saturn, not the prime creator, as many people have been taught. Because again, we have just grown up being taught like this, and we got certain program. That program is what we know as God. God the Father is actually the planet Saturn, or the god Kronos, right? In Greek mythology. That's the same thing. And you see his symbol is all over the place. As I said, the judges wear black because it's an ancient commemoration of the worship of the Dark Lord who dwells in the sphere of the planet Saturn, and who the planet Saturn represents. Priests wear black because he's in, in veneration or in energy alignment with the planet Saturn. Again, the communism, this is the symbol of Saturn, the god Saturn. So this is the symbol of the god Saturn. And this is the god Saturn eating his children. This is a Greek mythology. But as I say last time, mythology is not just stupid people talking about stupid thing. Mythology is like science fiction. Science fiction is actually science fact. So they are talking of the battle, certain battle. When you say Kronos ate his children, Kronos is the first generation of Titans, Titan gods. He ate his children. What does that mean? What does that mean? You know, we're not talking of human beings. These are anthropomorphic concepts, and that's why a lot of people don't pay attention to mythologies, because they think it's just maybe primitive people talking of something that doesn't make sense. It makes a lot of sense, and the scientific facts they are discussing using anthropomorphic terminologies and concepts. You see, everything is duality. In the physical world, Kronos eating his children is the older generation trying to restrict the younger generation. You see, everything is duality in the physical realm. That's how even the Masonic order govern the world. The battle, for example, Democratic Party, Liberal, Conservative, each like there's this pull and push fight. The other one want to go uh, extremely liberal, and the other one is pulling it back. You know, the older generation is trying to curtail the tendencies of the younger generation. You know, that is what that energy implies. And this is the symbol of communism, a hammer and the sickle, right? A hammer and a sickle. The same symbol, you see, a sickle is here, and the hammer in front of the cross. You see? So everything you see is orchestrated. Everything is not accident. Everything is just did not happen by accident. You know, the fact that judges wear black, and if you go to many countries, you're going to see that the judges is standing behind a star. That star, the pentagram, again, even though it's not inverted, but we know there's a symbolism to it. If you graduate from school, they're going to give you a hat and you wear this black gown. All these traditions came from the worship of Saturn in ancient time, because I say Saturn used to be our sun in olden days, before there was what they call mythologies, the battle of the gods, and the position of Saturn shifted, because Saturn is like actually an energy absorber. Unlike this sun we have right now, the sun we have now is more of a giver. Is more of a healer. You know, it's not a vampirus like other planetary energies are, right? So the symbol of communism is the symbol of Saturn, the planet Saturn, or the god El. And that talking of Satan, literally Satan, if you know how to decode concept. You see, this is Kronos. Again, Kronos, they're talking of the planet Saturn. Whenever I see this, because the time controller, I see these children are working and they're getting old, because the controller of the physical dimension is the one that is controlling this dimension with iron fist. And in movies and in pop cultures, sorry, you see Kronos depicted with this monk gamage habit, and then the hood, and then the long stick he has with a sickle on it, right? Because he's a reaper. He's the one who rips everyone off this place and places a lot of restraining on this physical reality. You know, he's the controller of time. He's in charge of time. He's in charge of. He places time on everything, because the soul in its original form does not have concept of this time we have right now, right? The soul does not operate based on linear time. And it is Kronos who imposes this order, this rule of putting restriction on human action. You know, you get old, you die. Your time is highly limited. It is Kronos who places that sort of restriction, is the controller. And you get married, you have rings in your hand. And I told Christians, you don't even know where this this ritual came from. It has nothing to do with Christianity. Again, everything, maybe 70% of what people do has to do with the worship of the planet Saturn. They don't just know it. When you get married and you put a ring on your hand, has nothing to do with Christianity. It has everything to do with Kronos, the worship of Kronos, the worship of the planet Saturn. And the entity that lives here is called the Lord of the Ring, or the Dark Lord. The Lord of the Ring, right? The Lord of the Ring. See, because there's a ring around the planet Saturn. See, there's a ring. idea of putting ring to cement your marriage, I mean, Kronos is in charge. Has nothing to do with the God that you think. I say we've been so programmed. We are told things which we've bought into, we've believed, and we've never really investigated what they mean. Right? I'm not saying people should, just share knowledge. Just share knowledge. You describe fact. You see, this is a picture. I don't know if this is a computer generated, but there's a hexagram. Hexagram at the North Pole of the planet Saturn. And the mythology dealing with Santa Claus. Santa Claus that comes on Christmas time from North Pole. Santa Claus is another Saturn, the planet Saturn. No Christian connection. No Christian connection. Everything here goes back to the worship of this dark lord that dwells in this sphere. Right? Santa Claus is coming from North Pole of where? It's North Pole of the planet Saturn, because Santa Claus is actually Satan. I said it. Santa Claus is actually Satan because it deals with the Saturnalian worship, right? Santa Claus is Kronos. Kronos is the god El, from where you get Elohim. Kronos is Satan, plain and simple. We see also in Catholicism, we see that monks have this weird, ugly hairstyle they shave. I don't know if they still do it in this modern time, but if we watch like some old pictures drawn of monks, this is how they shave their hair. Why do they do this? They wear Saturnalian clothing and then they shave their head to commemoration in energy alignment with the ring of Saturn. Plain and simple. That is where it came from. That is where it came from. It does not came from them trying to use austerity or self-discipline to attain to reach God. That culture of shaving their head at the center and leaving a ring around their head has to do with Kronos, the worship of the god El, or Saturnalianism, Saturnalian worship, because it is alluding to the God that lives in this sphere. And this entity is not the creator, is a God, but not a God. But this lower dimensional form of energy manifestation has imposed himself on this physical world as the creator of all things, kind of has deceived mankind. And as I said, many things done here in government. There are other logos, iconographies, and images I could go into analyzing and exposing, but we don't have time to do that. So whenever you see this hairstyle, know that even though they say these monks are holy, but their hairstyle is in alignment with the ring of Saturn. That's where it came from. That's where it came from. So they're not, quote unquote, not really following the prime creator. They're following something else, a lower dimensional existence. So in that movie, we might not have time to go into all these things. In that movie, what you see is theosophy. Theosophy dealing with certain philosophies of civil society. We see telema. Telema is a system of occult awareness and understanding that was brought by this British arch Satanist, Aleister Crowley. So that movie is full of telema, theosophy, and again, MK, Ultra Mind Programming, which is a sub project of CIA where they develop a way of controlling people's mind, controlling the mind through sometimes substance induced form of mind control and just being able to control people's mind. And then Pavlovianism. Ivan Pavlov is a Russian behaviorist who invented what you call today as Pavlovian psychology, right? Where you precondition people for a behavioral outcome. The elites are using this and this part of the thing that's been going on the planet for a long time. Doesn't matter how people are educated. A lot of people are under great mind control by dark psychology, which is infused in medias, in movies and pop cultures and all these other things. So Hollywood is full of occultism, elitism, and mind control. And how did the concept Hollywood come from? Right? Originally, and you see other people around the world, other countries naming their movie industries, maybe Bollywood, as in the case of India, they don't even because if people actually understood the magic, the occultism that goes in the naming of Hollywood, they probably name their own movie industry something different because the concept Hollywood deals with witchcraft. It deals purely with witchcraft. And that's why they continue to casting, casting spell on the mind, hypnotism. As America goes, Hollywood goes, so the world goes, right? If America initiate America's best singer, it's spreads all over the world. You know, people don't know the energy behind it. People don't know the mass behavioral condition behind it because they just think it is something to entertain ourselves. No, you've been changed. All over the world, I see that consumer-driven culture is awakening, and this is an engineered social behavior packaged, intentionally imposed on the world. You're going to be working and you're going to be a consumer. Consumer. You can go and work and work and work and then use all the money to buy it and then destroy your health for no reason. Because even those things you put in your body consuming, I mean, the idea is to take you away from yourself, to take you away from reflection, to take you away from meditation, to take you away from the concept of the meaning and the value of life. Because when you are able to think, it's difficult to have your mind control. But when you are full of paying attention to a lot, nothing but entertainment, how to watch soccer, how to watch football, how to uh, be following these highly mind programmed musicians and pop stars out there who are being used to mind control other people, you will not have time to reflect as to the essence of your existence. So let's talk about how the name came. The name Hollywood came from holly tree. It is from holly tree that they make Christmas tree. I mean, Christmas tree, that's what Hollywood is, what people go and chop down in the bushes and forest and then put it in their home as Christmas tree, which again has nothing to do with Christ, right? But why this is important, the naming of Hollywood, because Hollywood is a wood taken from the holly tree. Remember, Hollywood, this is the holly tree, right? So you're talking of a wood or a stick taken from the holly tree. And this dates back to the period of Druidic religion. Druidism is a Celtic religion in Europe. It existed thousands of years ago. And these people, they still exist in this modern time, but I don't think it's as strong as it used to be in ancient time. So the Druids of Druidism utilized a lot of this tree for magical purposes. Even today, in this modern time, people in the Western society who practice witchcraft and occultism uses the stick from the holy tree, right, to cast spell, to do binding, to do hypnosis on people, right? And that is why, see, this is like taken from the holy tree. They carve, take a wand, witch's wand, is gotten from the holy tree. They got it from holy tree. So naming Hollywood tells you the magical foundation of this industry, the occult foundation of this industry, because they are there to put a blanket on the consciousness of humanity, to put a veil on the thinking process of humanity, and to create mass behavior modification and behavior engineering. right? So we've had, and this is like I'm drifting, we had St. Patrick, celebrated in Irish bishop. Is it Irish bishop? I think he was sent to Ireland for evangelism, and we were told that he abolished the snakes. I mean, he caused the snakes to disappear in Ireland. And the church lied, as they have been lying in many other things. What St. Patrick did was he called the genocide of Druidic priests, because they were called the snake people in ancient time, because they followed the ancient mystery religion of what we call serpent knowledge, right? And they were kind of nature worship people, original indigenous people who live in Ireland are worshiping their. So St. Patrick began to launch this ecclesiastical attack, of course, with the power of the Pope, and begin to annihilate, kind of genocide. He genocide them out of existence. And this is somebody the Catholic Church says is a priest. He massacred a lot of people. He foresaw, he supervised, the extermination of the Druidic people because of their religion. And when you read church history today, modern time, people have been catechized all over the place. You see that St. Patrick was a holy man, and he he made the snakes disappear throughout our land. The snakes are talking about people. He killed people. That's what I mean. So again, you see the magic wand being shown in movie. I think this is a Harry Potter movie. You see the magic wand. They still use it in kind of pop cultures, telling you um, that what I'm trying to say is that the concept of Hollywood comes from the holy tree. And the holy tree also is a tree that witches or occultists use the branches to cast spell when they do ritual magic. Right? Please click the subscription button and subscribe to my channel. This is the Primordial Wave, and I hope to see you some other time.